MCU has so many superheroes who each get their own powerful moments on screen, so let's look at the top 10 badass superhero scenes in the MCU.
Let's count them down.
Peter.
At number 10, we have Spider-Man vs. the Goblin in No Way Home. While this isn't the only badass scene from this movie, it's definitely one that isn't talked about as much. The fight that ensues after Peter realizes the Goblin is taken over just goes to show how brutal Spider-Man can be, accompanied with the Goblin's unhinged laughter as Peter wails into him. This makes for one of the many epic and badass scenes from the movie.
You tried to fix me. Now, I'm gonna fix you.
While we've already seen Tom Holland as Spider-Man a number of times, there are certain moments in this movie that show how he's grown from the high school kid with superpowers to a true hero who's faced and overcome tragedy. At number 9, we have the movie that kickstarted the first phase of the MCU. Iron Man is a favorite among fans, and for good reason. The first movie is very grounded and follows the billionaire playboy Tony Stark as he falls from his luxurious life into a life of captivity. But Tony Stark is a genius, and with a helping hand, doesn't stay in captivity for long. Although the first suit that Tony makes is far from the finished product, he strikes fear in his enemies' hearts as they fire on him and barely dent his armor.
My turn.
His badass one-liner, followed by burning everything down, is just the start of all the reasons why we love Iron Man. Number 8, The Punisher. While all heroes fight for the greater good to protect or avenge the innocent, Frank Castle's approach is a bit different. His lack of compassion and sense of justice makes him one of the most badass heroes from the MCU. He's brutal, strategic, and shows no mercy to those who stand in his way. Seeing the iconic Punisher symbol as he sets a trap and prepares to hunt his enemies is badass. He embodies the symbol of death and takes down an entire squad with barely a scratch, making him a one-man killing machine.
I don't know anything.
Fair enough. I'm not seeking penance for what I've done, Father. I'm asking forgiveness for what I'm about to do.
At number 7 is another TV show from Netflix, Daredevil. While this is probably one of the best starts to any MCU TV show, Daredevil's morals and skill make for a very intriguing character, especially considering the fact that he fights all his enemies without even being able to see them. Matt Murdock's a lawyer who seeks justice and a devout Catholic who feels like he must be forgiven for hurting his enemies. Watching him take down bad guys fast and efficiently without his sight just proves he's one of the most badass heroes.
I've come to bargain.
What do you want?
At number 6, we have Doctor Strange and his sentient cape. While Doctor Strange struggles to become the hero throughout most of the movie, both mentally and morally, his rise to power is one of the most visually pleasing stories in the MCU. The movie has a good mix of comedy, especially involving the cape. It also has badass moments like these where Doctor Strange's powers are stable and sure, and allow him to finally fight back in an equal battle. So far, he's only been relying on his cleverness, but once he masters his abilities, he becomes a force to be reckoned with. It's hard fighting against a man who can manipulate the very ground on which you stand. Of course, we had to include this one.
I knew it.
So at number 5, we have Captain America wielding Mjolnir. Many of us suspected, along with Thor apparently, that Captain America was worthy enough to wield Thor's hammer. But having him pick it up during one of the biggest showdowns in the MCU when Thor's life is on the line makes for an epic scene that left fans screaming in the theaters. The moment we see the hammer rise, we know something is up, and seeing it fly back to Captain America made for probably the most badass scene in Endgame. And that's saying a lot. The following fight between Captain America with the shield and the hammer against Thanos is one of the most memorable fights from Endgame. At number 4, we have Black Panther, starring the much-loved Chadwick Boseman, was a groundbreaking movie in 2018 that brought the world of Wakanda to the big screens. Black Panther is action-packed and the fight scenes are brutal. One of the best ones towards the beginning of the movie shows just how brutal the fighting can be.
Defense position.
The Black Panther hunts silently, just like his namesake, and is the reason why this scene is so badass. It introduces him as the lethal hunter that proves he has every right to be the king.
The hardest choices require the strongest wills.
I think you'll find our will equal to yours.
At number 3 is the battle between Doctor Strange and Thanos in Infinity War. Whenever Doctor Strange is present, you know there's going to be some crazy CGI involved. His brief one-on-one with Thanos, each of which are in possession of at least one of the Infinity Stones, makes for an epic showdown with amazing visuals. The barrier, the butterflies, the multiple arms, and multiple Doctor Stranges. The battle is so creative and done beautifully, making it one of Doctor Strange's most badass scenes.
I only have 12 bullets, so you're gonna have to share.
Coming in at number 2 is Deadpool, the not-so-heroic hero.
I may be super, but I am no hero.
While Deadpool, one of the only R-rated movies associated with the MCU for now, can be a bit gory at times and have some pretty immature humor that we can't help but love, it also brings in some new aspects to a familiar genre. Deadpool constantly breaks the fourth wall. The way Deadpool just casually kills everyone with a limited number of bullets makes this scene both hilarious and badass.
Someone's not counting. 6.
Stark was right. You do deserve that.
And at number 1 is this badass scene from Spider-Man: Far From Home. This movie is full of twists and betrayal, and yet the end still comes as a surprise. One of the things Spider-Man is known for is his spider sense, but we go nearly 2 whole movies without Tom Holland's Spider-Man developing this sixth sense.
Hungry? Oh, so sorry. I thought that you could sense that with your Peter Tinkle.
Luckily, Spider-Man's Peter Tinkle kicks in just in time to save it. The realization that Mysterio is standing right next to him, pointing a gun at his head, instead of handing him the glasses, is such a badass moment.
You can't trick me anymore.
The silence that follows after the gunfire only adds to the tension of the scene.
Is this real?
All illusions are down, Peter.
That's it for our top 10 badass superhero scenes in the MCU. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe, then click the video on screen to watch our newest video. We'll see you there.